What is Wagyu? Is it healthy? Is American Wagyu fake? Now, I'm going to answer the top 10 Wagyu beef questions rapid fire, all right? I'm Evan Carter. I'm one of the meat dudes. I talk to ranchers all over the world, Wagyu ranchers, Australia, Japan, South America, all over the US. So let's correct some of this information. If you got 10 minutes and you want to learn about Wagyu beef, let's do it right now. Let's go. What is Wagyu? Okay, simply, Wagyu is beef that comes from cattle that originated in Japan. Okay, they're genetically predisposed to create more intermuscular fat, or marbling, and that creates more of a juicy, tender, more flavorful steak at the end of the day, more than conventional beef. Now, there's a ton of different varieties and crosses, and it's a whole spectrum out there, but simply, it is a cow that can create more intermuscular fat in between that muscle, that great fat, is for a juicier, more flavorful steak. Is Wagyu healthier than regular beef? So I think a lot of people consider Wagyu healthier than conventional beef because the fat is different, okay? It's a monounsaturated fat. It has a better omega balance. And it reminds me of the fat that you find in salmon and olive oil. That's why it feels rich, it eats rich, but it has a very clean finish. Does the percentage of Wagyu actually matter? So does the percentage of Wagyu in a steak actually matter? You know, to me, it doesn't, but I believe that everything needs to be transparent. So if it is 50% Wagyu and 50% non-Wagyu, I think that should be very transparent. That should be on the label so you can make that choice. Now, a 50% Wagyu steak and 50% Angus, that blend, it's going to look like a beautiful, amazing prime steak. And if that's what you want, that's going to be great, okay? If you want something more like 40% fat, you can look for that, you know, that Japanese A5. So the percentage to me doesn't matter. It depends on what you're looking for. And I think there's a great option for almost everybody in this entire Wagyu spectrum. Is Kobe Wagyu? So yes. So the saying is, all Kobe is Wagyu, but not all Wagyu is Kobe. Similar to champagne and sparkling wine, right? All champagne is sparkling wine, but not all sparkling wine is champagne. It's because it has to be made in that Champagne region of France. So the same thing goes with Kobe. So there's already amazing, just very, very strict processes and policies and procedures to raise Wagyu beef in Japan, especially. And Kobe beef goes almost like a notch above that. So it has to be raised in the specific prefecture, the Hyogo prefecture in Japan. It has just different standards than normal Wagyu. Like I said, Wagyu already has crazy standards, and Kobe just goes a little bit above. So you're going to find some of the best beef coming out of that region, and they've been known for it. Now, there's other places that are starting to rival it, but they've been kind of known for that. So that's why when you hear Kobe, people think it's almost just like even a level above that amazing Wagyu beef you find in Japan, okay? So it's like just a little bit better, but keep your eye out because there's a lot more stuff coming out too. Why is Wagyu so expensive? Now, this is a deep question, so I'm going to try to rapid fire answer it quickly for you. First things first, it costs more to produce. It's a premium product, right? Why is 10-year barrel-aged whiskey more expensive than 2-year, right? Because it takes longer to store that, to create that, to generate that process. So that's the first thing. And it's a better product. It's more of a premium product, okay? It takes longer to raise. It takes more money to feed because it takes longer to raise. And so therefore, it's going to be more expensive, okay? And the genetics are more expensive. It's a premium product. But the good thing is that there's so many different levels that you don't have to spend $200 a pound. You can spend $15 a pound, $20 a pound, $70 a pound. There's a huge spectrum, like I keep saying. So is it more expensive than conventional beef? Yes. But once you really dig in there and start to find the different levels, you can find an amazing zabuton, crazy marbled steak for $20. So it's not always expensive. Is American Wagyu real? Yes. Let me answer this simply and clearly. Yes. It is Japanese genetics, all right? Wagyu genetics raised in the United States, okay? So if it's not Wagyu genetics, it's not Wagyu beef. But if it is Wagyu genetics raised in the United States, isn't that still Wagyu? It's just raised in a different area. Same with Australia, just raised in a different area. So yes, it is real. Now there are different crosses that you see more so in the United States than in Japan because the American consumer doesn't just want to eat that super marbled 40 to 50% fat to meat ratio, right? They want to eat that whole steak. So American Wagyu is just Wagyu genetics raised in the United States, and you'll start to see a lot more crosses for that American consumer. What are the differences between Wagyu, American Wagyu, and Australian Wagyu? So we just kind of covered this, but I get this a lot too because people think that Wagyu is one thing, American Wagyu is something else, and Australian Wagyu is another thing. It's all the same thing. It's all genetics. It's just raised in different territories, in different countries. And you get different products because you have different consumers in different countries. You have different terroir in different countries, right? Just think about wine. New Zealand wine versus wine in California is going to be different versus wine in Spain versus wine in Italy because of the different climates, the different terroirs. You're going to get different grasses, okay? But it all comes from the same genetics. So all those genetics came from Japan. They came here to the United States, then they went to Australia, and guess what? Now they're in Brazil, they're all over South America, they're in Europe. So it's the same thing, it's just raised in different countries. Okay, how much marbling is actually enjoyable? So we do get this question a lot because people will come to our meat shop and they'll look at some A5 Wagyu, which is about 40 to 50% marbled to, meat to fat or fat to meat. And then they'll see another piece of Wagyu that is maybe an F1 cross that looks like a really beautiful prime steak, like a prime ribeye. It just looks amazing. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Now, some people love that A5 and they want to have a couple of ounces of it. And they're going to eat that and they're going to feel satiated and full and they're going to enjoy that experience. And that's great. Other people might want a whole steak. Other people might be in the middle and maybe they want a full blood, really marbled steak. But maybe they don't want a ribeye because that's really big. Maybe they'll take like a zabuton or a bavette or a skirt steak or a terrace major. So there's so many different cuts you can choose from as well. So it's really about your preference, but there's so many cuts and so many different varieties of Wagyu that you're going to be able to find something that you like, right? Well, I'll say it again. Wagyu is not one thing. It is not just Japanese A5. It is an entire spectrum. So you'll be able to find something you like. What's the best Wagyu cut for someone to enjoy for their first time? I will say this 1,000 times over. I believe that the zabuton or the Denver steak is one of the best values, the best bang for your buck in our entire meat case. Whenever I'm talking about Wagyu, it could be an F1 cross, a purebred, a full blood, it does not matter. It's probably going to be 17 to 25, 28 bucks, depending on the size, depending on the type of Wagyu that it is. But for a first time experience, someone spending around that 20, 25 bucks and getting that type of experience, that's how you should do it. You should go out there, spend 25 bucks, find that Zab, cook it up, sear it up on all sides, salt, pepper, let that thing rest, slice into it. It's going to be an amazing experience. For your first time, get that Denver, get that Zabuton. Totally affordable, will blow your mind. Can you grill Wagyu or should you always sear it in a pan? All right, this one's a little bit tricky. I'm going to try to answer it quickly. If you are a good griller and you understand how to grill the right way, you can totally grill Wagyu. I know that's how they do it in Japan, and they really take the coals all the way down and really watch it. I tell people not to grill Wagyu, especially for the first time, because I don't want people just to throw a big full-blood Wagyu ribeye on their grill, turn around and start watching some baseball or football, and have it just start an entire fire. If you're gonna grill it, you gotta watch it because the fat melts at a lower temperature, so it's gonna dribble down and it's gonna start flaring up. So you gotta really get your coals nice and dialed, super just low down there, and really watch it, okay? So don't turn on like a gas grill up on high, throw your steak on there, close it up, and turn around because you might burn your house down. So if you're gonna grill it, keep an eye on it, keep those coals really low, and just really watch it and flip it and move it off of those flames, that flame, so you don't get a lot of char. Really easy way to do it though, cast iron, put a little Wagyu tallow in there, cook it on medium high, get a nice sear on all sides, cook it to 125, let it rest, slice it up, finish in salt, and there you go. Either way, just do it right. All right. Thanks for listening to those 10 questions. If you got more questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, love to answer them. And remember, come follow us, come subscribe, share this stuff out with people who say that they hate Wagyu, because I think trying that zabuton is going to change their mind, all right? So let us know what you think. Follow us, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.